It's funny because it's my 8-year-old son and we are the gamer core in our family. I don't have a lot, like my wife doesn't play games. Nobody in my family plays games. It's just me. It's been a very lonely existence. But what's fun about this is like I'm going to Austin to hang out with my in-laws and for 4th of July weekend, and I can't wait because this is like the one thing that I can go here. And granted, they'll probably be disturbed afterwards, but that's kind of the point. But I'm excited to be able to have people in my family that don't normally game go, this one you can do. It's like, well, I don't know how to use a controller. It's like, do you know how to use this? Because if you can use this, you can. So I'm excited to terrorize my entire family this weekend. Right now, everybody is trying to figure out how do we get people? The number one, there's this gaming report that comes out every year, and it's the number one thing that is causing a disengagement with content are notifications on your phone. Everyone's trying to find a way, how do we keep people off of their phones while they're trying to engage with our material? And leave it to Netflix go, oh, we don't. We make the phone baked into the premise. You have to use your phone. It's your only tool. It's your only thing that's keeping you alive. So to me, that is another great example of kind of how, and I'm not trying to carry water for Netflix right now, but I will say I'm really impressed with their ability to think outside the box and be innovative and go, oh, we lean into the problem. We don't try to eradicate the problem. When I was approached, I definitely had a raised eyebrow because I'm familiar with Night School. I played Oxenfree. I played After Party. I even played the game, the side game that they did for the Black Mirror episode. And so when they go, hey, here's this really dark horror thriller, psychological thriller, I was like, say what now? Because I could see something that night school is no stranger to doing things that are maybe on the spookier side, but this is like hardcore horror. And the things that it's comped against and competing with is they're swimming in bigger waters. And so I'm immediately intrigued because I realize the irony of me being any bit hesitant because what business does the company that did, Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Dexter, and Uncharted have in the business of a survival horror zombie thing? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to trust the process, let them cook. So once I met Sean and Sam and the rest of the team, and we immediately dove into what is the foundational premise of this thing. And I love when stuff on the surface seems pretty like cut and dry, face value, I got it. But then we together get to plumb the depths and find, but what's an interesting way to do that? And I don't know how spoiler I can be. I think I can be spoilery, right? For me, my favorite cinematic villain, if you will, is Norman Bates. I think that Hitchcock struck a chord with people with the intentionality of how can I make this person the least obvious and even empathetic psychotic killer. You know what I mean? Like that to me is how can I, and Hitchcock even says like, how can I make you feel sorry for him? Because if I can make you feel sorry for him, I've done something. And so juxtapose that with the horrific things that this person's going to do, and not to, you know, say the name of the game in the sentence, but to find someone who is so unhinged, who is so untethered from reality and completely entrenched in their own reality. That's compelling to me. So I want to find out how do we execute that with excellence? And I really have to hand it to the team because here's a group of highly ambitious people that are utilizing every tool in their toolbox and every bit of resources at their disposal to be able to create something in an incredibly innovative way that to this point has not exactly been wildly successful. It's a real big swing. And to be collaborative in that process takes even more trust. And so I've really been impressed with how much they kind of let me come in and take ownership of this character and together create a process. It wasn't just, hey, here's your lines, execute this. This was something that was really collaborative and very, very iterative. Well, part of it was, we're moving on a pretty fast timeline, and what I really appreciate was them going, let's put it back in the oven. So when we originally stepped in, it was like, hey, we want you to come in and, you know, we want you to just be this voice. Here's everything. And we started looking at the pipeline that they had originally, which was, hey, let's do all the performance capture in one location, and then we'll just kind of like bring you in to kind of like match up what the voice is. We don't have to worry about syncing face up because, I'm wearing a mask. I was like, cool, let's see what that looks like. And we get into the process, and I go, do you mind? What they're doing is great, but based on the conversations that we've had about this character, it's changed a little bit. So I'll do this for free. I'm not asking for more money, but please, I kind of am good at performance capture. Can I suit up? And they were cool
Good, kind
enough
of good, kind of good.
to go, yeah, I mean, this is my bread and butter, baby. Let me do my thing. And they were cool enough to go, yeah. Now that, keep in mind, animation is the most expensive thing you can do in a game. So for them to go, we have a commitment to excellence, we have a commitment to quality, and we see the value in this. Let's take it out, not only take it out of the oven, let's throw away that one, and then let's bake a new cake together was really impressive. And so we kind of got to not rebuild the story from the ground up, but rebuild the character from the ground up and build the performances around something that we had all kind of now agreed to. So these things, and then there's one way that you can find out if this is working or not. And it's not in an abstraction or in a conversation or in a conference room or in a Zoom call. It's standing it up in engine. How does it play? And for them to be able to go, all right, we've gotten everything in engine, we're able to play it, we think that we can push it even harder. And it's that fine tuning, that polish that really sets good games apart from great games, or great experiences, I should say. And so we spent more time in polish than I think most studios do. And that's just relevant to, or revelatory of their commitment to the quality on this. It's like we're not going for, if it's going to be on this platform, it must be this tall to ride this ride. You know what I mean? So their commitment to the quality of this was something I was really impressed with. Trust me, I'm sure now it's fun because it's done and we're shipped. In the process, it is I've pushed back on hello before, not in this project, but the line has literally been hello. And I've said, why am I saying this? And I'm like, God, just say, you're almost done. You could be out of here. You could be in your car driving home. And my thing is, if I came here today, if we got all dressed up and we're doing this, why would we not spend as much time as possible doing this? I'm chasing the sun. That's my only enemy. And so I have no problem parking on scenes and dialogue and character and intention and motivations as long as possible to find the best result. That's not saying my idea. My idea could be absolute dog shit. Their idea could be better, but at least by the time we're done discussing it, we'll all feel better about it. Nobody wants to be the tip of the spear always sounds like a really good part of the spear until you realize that's the part that has to get the dirtiest and has to do the hardest work. Um, for me, I feel like this is a very tight, self-contained story, right? There's nothing better than leaving things somewhat open-ended, but that's where the audience comes in their authorship, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to follow this up with anything. I think if anything else, what Netflix is going to prove with Night School at the helm is they're going to show that this is a viable space for people who don't consider themselves gamers, but do consider themselves discrete consumers of content on a specific platform, a different way for them to engage with the things that they're wanting to experience, a different way to experience this level of storytelling. And I think that I mean, I know we've learned so much on this, and everyone's already going, okay, on the next one, I know what we're going to do. And how can we push ourselves even more? How can we be ambitious in the next thing? So, what I'm most excited about is not only for people to pick up their phone and play this thing, but also to see what we do next because this is an iterative process. As excited as I am about this one, I can't wait for the next one. I'm excited for this. I am constantly looking for people that are willing to break eggs to make omelets and to fail upward and to from that, those ashes, let the phoenix of success rise. Um, this team is a good tired. You know what I mean? Like they have exhausted themselves in the pursuit of something that is truly original. I'm excited for people to experience it. I keep saying play, and that just doesn't feel right. This is something that people are going to have to experience. I'll put it this way. Maybe the best endorsement that I can give. I have recommended 5 games for my wife to sit down and play because she knows that if I tell her to play this, it has a lot of equity. Those games have been games like Journey, Inside, um, Thomas Was Alone. Um, Trying to think of the other game that I even told her to play The Last of Us. I was like, it's gonna bounce off of you. It's not for you. But this is the other one. I'm like, you're gonna play this. She just got out of like seeing Obsession and Backroom, and she's all about cool weapons, and she loves these kind of horror, scary experiences. I'm like, I got one for you, and hand her phone and see what happens.
Yeah, one last time.